Hello, welcome to EVs and Beyond. I'm Richard Edwards, and it is very early in the morning. It's realistically only me and a very noisy seagull over there that are awake. The reason for being up so early, well, I'm going on a bit of a road trip today. I live in Mangawhai, and you've got to pass through Auckland to do anything out of here, so that generally sucks on a weekday morning. But we've got a really good car for the trip, and that's this, the MG4 Long Range. So what's the difference between the Long Range and everything else? Well, it's an Essence spec, so the top non-sports spec as such. But instead of a 64 kilowatt hour NMC battery, in this one you get a 77 kilowatt hour battery, though about 74 and a half of that is actually available. Comes with a 530 kilometer WLTP range, though when we turned it on this morning and reset the various trip meters, it was saying about 560. Weirdly, because when we'd done it and checked that range before we reset the meters, it was about 460. I'll put those numbers up on the screen now. But anyway, they say 530 on the WLTP. I've planned a bit of a trip today with a stop in between that should be about 500 kilometers. Will it make it? Let's find out. So we have made it to Taupiri. We are 201 kilometres into the trip, and I needed a bathroom and I needed a coffee. So this is the problem with range tests, is that most of these EVs now will do way more range than you actually can tolerate. And I'm sitting here with the car behind me not plugged in, kind of a bit itchy, because I know there's a free DC charger just over there, and I've passed so many charges on the way, and we've got so many more to come. But anyway, for the science of it, the rules around today. I've been driving at the speed limit, and that includes the 110 kilometres of the Waikato Expressway, dealing with traffic, air conditioning on, and we're doing okay. We're averaging 17.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. Now, that gives me a theoretical range off the 74 kilowatt available battery of 435 kilometres. This is 530 WLTP, but WLTP includes a lot of urban work and that kind of stuff. And I suspect if you just stuck looping around at the shops and occasionally out at the edge of town, you'd get a lot more than what we're going to get today. We've been dealing with rain. It's been relatively still, but it is cold. And so I have had the heater and the air conditioning running the whole time. So yeah. Now, the actual range the car is quoting we've got left is 255 kilometres, which would take us up to 455 kilometres overall. So, yeah, we're not sure what that discrepancy is, but, they are guessometers for a reason. Right, I'm going to finish a bit of work, drink a little bit more of this stuff, and then head on to our destination, first destination for the day. Right, so I made it to our location with this time.
Leaf, Gavin Shoebridge, g'day.
Yeah. Now, you're not going to tease too much about, I'm not going to do too much Gavin right now. I know you want Gavin, but we're not doing too much right now. But then you're going to go over to our other channel, the EV Guide. What are the MG4 Long Range?
Me? Well, I haven't driven it. What do you mean externally? It looks great. I mean, it looks like every other MG4.
Yeah.
455 inch tank. I mean, that's okay. But he's just told me some of the specs and how it compares to other cars, and interesting, but that's all I'm going to say.
Yes, yes. Anyway, I only get back on the road. I have about 150 odd Ks of range left. That's not going to end all the way back to Auckland. I know, what's the door-to-door?
Here, so 190 k's to Auckland Central.
Yeah. So I have to charge somewhere else before then, and we'll see which way we go for that. Left on the road.
Right, so we have made it. We actually went further than originally planned and finished up here at BP Taupuri, where we are charging somewhat slowly. This thing tops out at about 37, 38 kilowatts. The charger, not the car. The car can do, I think, 140, which is pretty good. But anyway, it's enough. It'll get me home. So we got here with pretty much exactly 400 kilometers on the odometer, including another run around the roundabouts to kind of get us just a little bit over the line. 400.1 specifically. So what are the numbers? Well, average trip consumption, 16.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Now, you'd lose your range meter at about 5% to go. But I've run the numbers, and based on our actual distance traveled and the percentage left, that gives us a range of about 421 kilometers. If you go straight off the consumption, it gives us a range of about 445. Now, I'm going to call it 430, which is pretty good and about what I kind of expected it to be. Now, remember that this is open road. And really, worst case, we had rain today, we had wind today. It was really cold this morning. I've been running the air conditioning, I've been running the heated seats, I've been running everything. And it still managed to achieve this. This is one of the few cars I've driven in this price range so far, which is a genuine, all conditions considered, 400-kilometer car. And that is super impressive. So the question is this one to buy? And sadly, and I don't want this to seem in any way disparaging to this car because it is really good, probably not. I mean, the Essence in 64 kilowatt form gives you the exact same spec. Okay, sure, a little bit less power, but it's also a little bit lighter. And still a solid kind of mid-300K range for $10,000 less. Even the 51 kilowatt-hour model, that'll get you to 300K in some conditions, or most conditions, really, if you're not stupid about it. And that is nearly $20,000 cheaper. If you're willing to spend a few $1,000s more than this, I think 4,000 to be specific, you can have the XPower, which gives you really good range and massive amounts of performance. I think this car fills a couple of quite specific niches. It's for perhaps older couples, retired couples who just want to know that they can jump in the car and drive the grandkids. No issues. They can go down country, probably only charge when they get to their destination. Easy as. They can guarantee they'll get that 400 kilometers pretty much every time. It's also for fleets who want idiot-proof fleet cars that anyone can jump in. They're not going to have to panic about charging during a day, during normal use. Can pretty much only be charged at the base. And when you do have to do a really big road trip, it only needs one charge potentially on the way. But the downside to all this is how far it will go. So this is New Zealand. To do 400 kilometers a day, admittedly with a lot of Auckland traffic in there, we only averaged 60 kilometers an hour, and it took nearly over 6.5 hours to do that time. I had to go to the bathroom a couple of times, go to a meeting, all sorts of other things. This thing has sat near a charger for probably an hour and a half of today, just in my normal usage. Those are times that I could have saved some money, spent some time charging. Still, an all-round great car, really comfortable, easy to cover the distance, and a good range at a pretty reasonable price. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget, for more, like and subscribe down below, ring that bell, and visit evsandbeyond.co.nz for more great EV content.